It was the summer of 1997 when everything changed in the small, dusty town of Blackridge. Located on the edge of a long abandoned stone quarry, the town was quiet, sleepy, and slow-paced. People minded their own business. Children played in the streets till sunset, and life moved with a predictable rhythm. But that summer, something ancient stirred beneath the earth, something no one was prepared for. Elliot Granger was 16. That year, restless and full of teenage boredom. He and his two best friends, Mark and Liam, had grown tired of biking around the neighborhood and watching late-night monster movies. They wanted something real, something thrilling. And so, one sultry afternoon, they set off for the old quarry, a forbidden zone sealed off decades ago after a series of mysterious accidents claimed multiple lives. The grown-ups never spoke about it, and the rusting warning signs only made the place more tempting. The quarry was overgrown and forgotten. Thick vines curled around crumbling stone walls, and the wind whistled through the hollowed-out pits. Birds didn't sing there. Animals didn't roam. Even the insects seemed to avoid it. As the boys wandered deeper into the ruins, Liam found a stone circle etched into the quarry floor, faded but still visible. In its center was a jagged hole that led into the darkness below. It was wide enough for a grown man to crawl through. "Let's go down," Mark said, his voice shaky but excited. Elliot hesitated. The air around that hole felt wrong. It wasn't just the chill or the smell of wet stone. It felt alive, like something was watching them. But pride wouldn't let him back down. They returned at night, flashlights in hand, and climbed into the hole. The tunnel stretched downward, sloping like a throat swallowing them whole. The deeper they went, the colder it got. Their breath began to fog, and every step echoed like it disturbed something ancient. The passage opened into a vast, underground chamber, an unnatural cathedral of stone with walls that looked like they had been clawed by something enormous. Strange markings covered every surface, symbols that pulsed faintly with a dull, red light. Then they heard it, a low growl, so deep it rattled their bones. The beam of Elliot's flashlight landed on something at the far end of the cavern. It looked like a figure hunched on all fours, its skin stretched tight over bones, its head too large, its eyes glowing red. They ran, stumbling, screaming, desperate to escape the nightmare they had woken. Only Elliot made it back to the surface. Mark and Liam were never found. Authorities searched the quarry for days, but nothing turned up. Elliot told them what happened, but they chalked it up to trauma and grief. The town whispered. Some believed him, most didn't. That fall, the town changed. Pets vanished. Livestock were found ripped open. Children spoke of glowing red eyes in the woods. A curfew was set, but it didn't help. People started disappearing. Elliot knew the truth. He saw it in his dreams. The beast crawling through tunnels, sniffing out. Life hungering. It hadn't stayed underground. It was out now, watching from the trees, waiting. The town began to empty. Families moved away. Businesses closed. By winter, Blackridge was a ghost town. Elliot stayed. He couldn't leave. Something tied him to the beast. Maybe guilt, maybe fear, maybe something darker. He studied the symbols from the quarry, deciphering fragments of an old, forbidden language. The markings were a seal, he realized, not just warnings, but a trap. And they had broken it. He tried to warn others. A local priest, a historian from the next county. No one listened. They thought he was mad. The dreams grew worse. Sometimes he'd wake with scratches on his skin, dirt under his fingernails, and blood on his sheets, not his own. He started blacking out, losing hours, sometimes days. One night, he woke in the woods, naked, covered in blood. Around him were the remains of something or someone torn to pieces. The beast wasn't just hunting Dot, it was becoming him. The nights grew longer. The wind howled through the skeletal trees like it carried voices. Elliot stopped going into town, not that there was much left. Abandoned cars lined the roads. Houses stood with doors ajar and lights flickering, as if the town itself had been. Caught mid-screamed out one night as Elliot pored over a tattered book he found in the church basement, a text in Latin and some language far older. He discovered a passage that chilled him to his core. The beast must feed to become. The vessel must break to bond. The hunter and the hunted, one in blood, one in bone. He realized then, the beast hadn't just escaped. It had chosen him. It was merging with him, using him to adapt, to survive above ground. Every time Elliot blacked out, it was the beast living through him. Feeding, he tried to chain himself in his basement, sealing the door with salt and iron. But the next morning, he woke in the fields, the lock broken, the chains twisted like wire. And another body was found near the outskirts of town. A traveling salesman, face ripped off, eyes gouged out. In desperation, Elliot recorded himself during sleep. The footage nearly broke his mind. He watched as his own body convulsed, bones snapping and reforming, muscles expanding under the skin. His jaw dislocated, teeth elongated, and from his back sprouted grotesque, bone-like spines. The eyes, his eyes, turned red, and the voice that came from his throat wasn't his. "I see you, Elliot," it whispered into the camera. "Soon, we will be one." He smashed the camera, but it didn't help. The thing was accelerating now. He began losing time to broad daylight. Strangers passing through Blackridge, hikers, drivers, lost tourists, kept vanishing, and he could no longer remember if it was him or the other Dot. And came the worst night. He woke up in his childhood bedroom, a place he hadn't seen in years. It was perfect, untouched. His posters on the wall, the old desk, even the model cars lined up on the shelf. But outside the window, the sky was blood red, and the stars spun in a spiral. Something scratched at the door. He opened it. Mark and Liam stood there, but their eyes were hollow. Their mouths moved, but no sound came out. Behind them, the beast rose from the shadows, towering, grinning with rows of teeth that never ended. "You let us die," they said together. "Now we are part of it. Now you are too." Elliot woke screaming, heart pounding, and this time, he didn't wake up in bed. He was in the quarry, standing in the circle, the markings glowing beneath his feet. His hands were bloody, and there were fresh claw marks on his arms. He wasn't fighting the beast anymore. He was the beast. He wandered the empty streets of Blackridge, barefoot, clothes torn, barely human. Every reflection showed a different version of him, one with horns, another with hollow eyes, another whispering secrets only monsters should know. Windows shattered as he passed, dogs barked in panic, and whimpered and fell silent. The town seemed to recoil from him. Then came the knocking. 3 soft knocks at his door one evening. Not frantic, not urgent, calm, measured. He opened the door slowly, expecting a ghost, a memory. Instead, there stood a woman. Pale skin, long black coat, sharp eyes like obsidian. "You're not the first," she said, "but if you don't act, you'll be the last." Her name was Dr. Ada Weyer, a folklorist and occult scholar. She'd been tracking ancient legends, following a trail of disappearances tied to underground ruins across continents. The quarry in Blackridge was one of the oldest. "What lives beneath," she said, "has many names. Your beast is one of them, a hunger older than language." Elliot wanted to cry, to beg for help, but the words caught in his throat like barbed wire. Ada wasn't there to exorcise him. She was there to teach him control. Every vessel has a threshold. You haven't crossed yours yet. And so began the rituals. Weeks of agony, glyphs carved into skin, chants under blood moons. The beast roared inside him, hating her, craving escape. But Ada stood her ground, unwavering. One night, during a blackout, Elliot found himself inside the quarry again. But this time, Ada was there beside him, holding a lantern carved with ancient runes. The light didn't just pierce the dark, it bent it. They descended further than he ever had. Below the main chamber, past the sealed tombs and shattered altars, into a void where even echoes dared not enter. There, they saw it, the true form of the beast, the original. Miles wide, embedded in the stone like a fossilized god, its many eyes twitching in sleep. Heartbeats thundered through the ground dot. Ada turned to Elliot and whispered, "You are its avatar now, but it dreams through you. If it wakes, it ends everything. We seal it again, or we die." Suddenly, the creature stirred. One massive eye opened. It saw him, and Elliot screamed.